In this lesson, we're going to discuss ruler guides. If you'd like to follow along, go under the File menu to Open, and in the Sample Files folder, go into Chapter number 3 and select 0303, your guide to ruler guides, and just click Open. Creating guides in InDesign is really easy. If I want a horizontal guide, all I have to do is go to my horizontal ruler and just click and drag. If I want a vertical guide, all I have to do is click and drag from the vertical ruler. But you'll notice that the guides are actually ending at the edge of the page. Is there a way to make a guide, a horizontal guide, go right across an entire spread? Well, I could drag off the page to the pasteboard area, and you can see that the guide is now going right across the page. But what if I wanted to drag to a particular object and have it snap right to that object, yet still go right across my spread? One of the nice things about guides is guides will actually snap to objects, and they work the other way as well. Objects snap to guides. This makes it really easy to position objects to guides and guides to objects. So if I drag from my horizontal ruler and start going onto my page and drag to the lower left-hand corner of one of these objects, let me do that. And you can see my double black arrows are turning white when I get it right to that corner. And if I hold down my Command key, I can snap right to that corner of the object on a page, and it goes right across the spread. So yes, there is a way to make a guide snap right to an object on a particular page, yet go right across the spread. You hold down your Command key on a Mac, Control key on a PC. Now, is there a way to drag on both a horizontal and vertical guide at the same time? Maybe I want guides on the left side of this object and on the top of the object. Do I have to drag on two separate guides? No. What I can do is go to that square where the two rulers come together. On a Mac, hold down my Command key. On a PC, hold down my Control key, and now snap right to that upper left-hand corner of that object. And I dragged on both the vertical and horizontal guides at the same time. So that can actually save some time. Why don't we go down to the next spread? I'm just going to scroll down, and you can see there's my next spread with a lot of guides on it. Now, guides are objects. So they're pretty much like any other objects in the way that you can work with them. One of the things that you should know is objects always take precedence over guides. When clicking and dragging across objects with your selection tool to select those objects, the guides will not get selected. If I click and drag with my selection tool, you can see only the objects get selected. This is a good thing because it's quite possible that I may want to move all of the objects on my page. Let me do that. I'm just going to click and drag on my selected objects and drag them down. The guides are not moving. So it allows you to move the objects without disturbing the guides at all. Let me hit Command-Z on a Mac, Control-Z on a PC to move one step back. Because guides are actually objects, I can do a lot of things with them that normally you wouldn't even think about doing with guides. Let me show you. If I click and drag across just guides, I will select those guides. You can see how all of these vertical guides are now selected on this page. And they have a position in the control panel. So if I click my up arrow, they're going to move. And you can see they're actually moving as a unit. Also, if I wanted my guides to be further apart, you can see there is a width. It's measuring from the left guide to the right guide. If I click my up arrow, it's actually making the guides further and further apart. And it's doing it in proportion. It's maintaining the same proportion that existed between those guides. I can also align guides. Now, I haven't talked about the Align panel yet. We will in an upcoming lesson, but let me give you a quick preview. I'm going to go under the window menu to Object and Layout, Align. And I'm going to make it so that the space between these guides is exactly equal. Without taking out my calculator and doing any math, all I'm going to do is go to the Align panel with the object selected, the guide selected. I'm going to go to the Align To pop-up and choose Margins. So what it's going to do is actually align to margins. So if I hit Distribute Horizontal Spacing, it's going to take the left guide and bring it over to the left margin, the right guide and bring it over to the right margin, and make an equal amount of space between the rest of the guides in between. Really kind of cool. It makes it possible to set up guides very, very fast. Now, what's the fastest way to get rid of guides, to delete them? Well, I could go to my ruler and simply right-click on the ruler and go down the bottom of the pop-up menu to delete all guides on spread. And that will get rid of all the guides. But I could also do it another way. I'm going to hit Command-Z on a Mac, Control-Z on a PC to bring back my guides and deselect them by clicking off of everything with my selection tool. Now, there is a command to select all of your guides. You could use this command to select all your guides to move them as a unit, but you could also use the command to select all the guides to delete them. Let me show you what I'm talking about. On a Mac, I'm going to hit Command-Option-G. On a PC, it's Control-Alt-G. It's selected all of the guides, and all I need to do now is hit Delete, and all the guides went away. Speaking of guides going away, let me scroll back up to my first spread. Occasionally, I'll get a frantic call or email from one of my students, and they'll say, all of my guides have disappeared. Well, there could be a number of reasons why. The first is you're in preview. Now, the fastest way to get into preview is to just hit your W key. And you can see all of the guides went away. But also the edges of the frames have gone away, so it's a preview of kind of what this is going to look like when it's going to print. Let me hit W again to bring back my guides by going out of preview. Another reason guides could possibly disappear is you may have hit a command by accident. Let me show you. I'm going to go under the View menu to Grids and Guides to Hide Guides. And my guides are now gone. Well, they're not really gone. I just can't see them. And I can bring them back either by going under the View menu to Grids and Guides, Show Guides, or even faster, I can go to the View pop-up and select Guides to recheck it. And now my guides are back. In the next lesson, we're going to continue discussing layouts.